how difficult it's to predict the future in 5 years and how difficult it is to predict the future in 12 years. So if we come back to the morning discussion with Nassim Khalid, right, and saying about uncertainty, what I can tell you about the future that unfortunately we need to pay. We will need to pay a lot, right? Because if anything is certain about the future, it's payments. So today's session and discussion with Dariusz Mazurkiewicz, the CEO of BLIK, will be about the future of payments, the future of European landscape of payments. But before that, I would like to share you a few thoughts from our research report made by Deloitte about the future of those. So what I can say, and I'm actually working with experiences and designing those experiences for the customers for the last 20 years, is that one of the drivers of changes in the technology and business is actually customer experience. So if we are thinking about the payments, we are thinking about how to make them seamless, how to make them omni-channel, how to make them as easy as possible across all the channels for our customers. So that's going to be definitely the driver of those changes in 12 years. The second mega trend is, of course, technology and new emerging technologies, for example, like blockchain. Everybody's talking now about the blockchain, about the cryptocurrencies, about the European cryptocurrencies, and how they will actually influence the market. And those two things, those new customer experiences and technologies, cannot go without the new regulations, right? It's about the security, it's about the new EU regulations. Everybody's kind of waiting for the PSD3 regulations, but it's also about how we will secure our European market in terms of, big techs and all that stuff. And of course, in 12 years, we are not sure about many things, but we show that we want to make a secure tools and secure solutions. So managing the risk and using payments in terms of, new managing the fraud things, for example, and all the stuff which we needed to manage the risk, is going to be a challenge, and also could be one of the drivers of stopping or slowing new technologies which are going to be emerging. But we'll be talking about the reality with Darek and discussing our kind of hypothesis for them. But of course, we can analyze, and we did the analysis of the current European landscape, and we need to say this is very dynamic. And even just recently, what we see is how this landscape is actually changing in terms of consolidation. What we know that, and you all see that the global players like Google Pay, like PayPal, or like Apple Pay, they are the only solutions that get real traction in terms of the whole European coverage. But what we also can see is that the local players, and we all know that the payments, it's a game of scale, they're getting traction also, both on the local markets, but also by M&A transactions, they're getting scale and trying to consolidate in the regions, right? So we probably, many of you knows that when we are looking at Scandinavia, and VIPs and mobile pay, there's a big consolidation over there. But even bigger, just recently, last month, we see the consolidation, looking at merger of Payconic, iLeap, but also Paylip, iDeal, and Payconic, which actually means that the whole, I would say, kind of like francophonic market is being consolidated. But I'm very proud also just to say that we are very visible on the European market, because when we are looking at the Central Europe and what is our current company, our own company, our proud, I would say, BLIK is doing, so by acquiring Viamo, but also entering the Romanian market with payments, we are getting traction, and we have really, really important player in that market. So we shall see what's going to happen, but definitely as a European Union, we need to be stronger, we need to consolidate, we need to get scale, just not to be, so independent on those big tech solutions, and I think we all are aware of that. But before going into those hypotheses about what's going to happen in 2035, I want a little bit to make, just to set the stage for the discussion about 4 groups of alternative payments that we're going to discuss, and we're going to discuss some hypotheses around them. So first of all, as I mentioned before, those digital wallets, as I said, like PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, but we also have our European ones. So those solutions that are actually merging, that we can add our cards into one solution and quite seamlessly pay either in e-commerce or POS, easy, right? So we know that. The second one, it's native mobile systems. And when we are looking at those European solutions, I would say, very important group, right? So BLIK as the example of Bizum, and we'll have representatives on the panel held by Dariusz just in a few minutes, right? So a little bit different solutions. So the own solutions with own settlement systems, but leveraging the native mobile apps, right? So this is a little bit different models. Probably I can assume that 99% of this room is actually using BLIK and understand these kind of solutions. The third group, instant account-to-account payments, right? So scanning QR codes or peer-to-peer payment solutions, not so popular in Poland, but if you think of it about Germany or Benelux or Italy, definitely very popular situation. And the fourth one, as for today, kind of like the question mark, of course, but crypto or digital currencies. So this group is getting traction, getting interest, but still waiting for regulations. But the whole situation and the whole discussion about digital euro is very interesting, right? So when we'll be talking with Dariusz about those hypotheses, please keep in mind this landscape, but also if you would like to get more, at the end of the session, I will be sharing the QR code when you can actually download the report, and it was published today. So you are actually the first people who can listen to the results, but then who can actually download. And there will be a webinar, but I will talk in a minute. So at this moment, let me introduce to the stage Dariusz Mazurkiewicz, the CEO of BLIK. Big applause to Darek. I think that we want the one, right? Thanks.
Thanks for invitation, Wiesław.
So Darek, can you predict the future?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's as a payment practitioner, thinking about 12, 10, or maybe even 5-year perspective, it seems to be a nightmare to imagine what will happen. A lot of things are happening so quickly. But of course, we need to present some visions and some hypotheses for the future. So I'm ready to be challenged. What you as a consultant, you think will happen in the future. So
okay. So hopefully this is not going to be like a nightmare for you those next 12 minutes. So can we please have a slide with our questions? Excellent. So if we look at the future, do you agree that in 2035? Digital wallets' dominant position will be challenged by consolidation of instant and account-to-account payments?
This is the game in Europe, actually, that we are playing right now. The game is about trying to gain significant scale, significant enough to actually oppose global tools and global big tech solutions that are offered more or less everywhere. Sometimes we say that those solutions are very much, let's say, oriented into disintermediation of customers between a bank and customers relationship are going quite hardly. So we think at BLIK, and definitely I think this vision will be shared by our colleagues later on, we think that we don't even think that it will happen, but we are sure it will happen. I think as account-to-account payment solutions, we are very close to markets, very close to customer needs. And this is, the old-fashioned game about global and local. So we, as bottom-up solutions, have great advantages to play in the game against, big techs. We know Google Pay and Apple Pay, which are wonderful solutions. We know a little bit old-fashioned PayPal, but we have fantastic technologies right now arising, and we do think that it will happen, we are sure.
And what could be the major drivers for these local specific things? Can you just share with us like the example of something that is local, important for example, our Polish or European customers, not yet provided by the big techs?
Yeah, very good question. So every market is a little bit different in Europe. So the big challenge that we have in Europe actually right now is that we have sometimes really different customer behavior from country to country. If we take a look at the solutions that are provided to, let's say, individual countries by local players, by local banks, by local initiatives, by local systems, local schemes, however we call them, we always see that the penetration of those systems is starting to be really significant. Penetration in terms of activation of customers in different market segments. As BLIK, we are very much proud about achieving the level of more or less 70% of e-commerce market in Poland, which is probably the top level in Europe as far as the penetration of e-commerce market is concerned, country by country. We are very proud about this. We'll have a great opportunity to discuss it further later on. But I think that having the whole market coverage, great local understanding of the solution, and I think that I would say universal approach. In our case, the universal approach is guaranteed by mobile banking. No matter the platform, no matter Apple, Android, no matter laptop, no matter interface, it's always a mobile banking in the heart of the solution. This is our case, BLIK's case. This is our vision for the future. Later on, we see that the visions might be different. Yeah, so I think that this is the future, and I think this is a great advantage of our Polish case.
Okay. To be a little bit against, in 2035, native mobile systems will increase their volume share, as you mentioned, on the local markets, but none of those solutions will gain European-wide coverage. Agree or disagree?
Absolutely disagree. So everything we do with our fantastic teams at BLIK is just to prove that definitely being successful on the domestic market doesn't really mean that we are purely dedicated for our Polish domestic market. We are going outside. We do believe that BLIK is dedicated not only for a Polish guy paying in Polish e-commerce or transferring money from one Polish bank account to another Polish bank account, but we also believe that BLIK is perfect enough and very well designed enough in order to provide a solution in which a Slovak guy will pay in a Slovak shop or e-shop. In the future, Romanian guy locally. And we also think that German people can pay and use BLIK in the German shops and so on. So we really think that we have a great potential of using the infrastructure of mobile banking in order to transform our technology to other countries. And I think that we are not the only one solution of having this kind of aspirations in Europe. We'll see it later on. And this is why definitely I think that all the consolidations that you have shown are showing that big tech, global solution, global wallets are coming to difficult times right now to scale in Europe because we are really doing good job.
We are doing great job as Europe. We are proud of that, but in the same time, we are so complex and I would say in a way scattered, right? So those big techs, what their advantage is, they have a straight strategy and they just go to there. In Europe, we are just discussing, right? So what would be your advice to us as Europe, but also as a BLIK strategy to have a real consolidation? Or maybe it's not needed. Maybe there's a space for few players.
You're right. We are discussing a lot in Europe, but I think that right now we are living in a very specific moment. The discussion is over. Action is being undertaken right now in different places. It's happening right now. So I don't think, maybe in other words, I think that the fragmentation of payments is over in Europe. This beautiful diversity, because I would say we are different beautifully, is coming into consolidation phase. I think that if you are looking at the horizon of 2035, I think we'll have 3, 4, maybe 5 successful solutions covering more countries competing successfully between themselves. And this will be the reason of having the most, let's say, advanced solutions fighting for the hearts of customers, individual customers, banks, PSPs. I think the great collaboration is just among fewer amount of of solutions that will be provided. The game right now is about who will be there. And things are happening very, very quickly. And I'm, to be honest, very excited right now. And I'm looking forward to the next panel because we'll be talking precisely about this, what is happening right now in Europe. So it's changing very quickly right now. So the discussion is over.
So before the exciting discussion, 4 minutes, 17 seconds. So just please wait to that. The third topic, right? Instant payments will be a leader of P2P payments, but growth in e-commerce will be limited due to the robust market position of acquirers. They are still in the game. They will be in the game.
Yeah, I hope there are some acquirers in the audience. I do hope. And definitely you have another point where you will find a very strong no from my side. It comes to the cooperation of acquirers. Acquirers are doing great and incredible, fantastic job in the retail digital payments landscape. And the vision of BLIK is a strict and very close cooperation with acquirers. It will be one of the reasons of success of some of the schemes, for sure, of BLIK's success in the future, because we think that the whole buzzword about instant payments in Europe and globally sometimes is, avoiding the question of the importance of acquirers. What does it mean to pay instantly between customers, from a customer to a merchant? Doesn't really mean that some part of the market should be, disrupted and some players are unnecessary. This is not true. I think that the need of having an acquirer, the last mile of providing this fully professional service from acquirer to its e-shop, web shop, retailer, digital retailer, is so necessary that only those solutions that are really able to cooperate successfully with them will be successful at the end of the day. So I think that definitely e-commerce will develop, definitely the cooperation with acquirers will be absolutely important, and definitely no. Yes,
so kind of like co-opetition, so cooperation with competition, yeah? Cool. And last but not least, digital euro, cryptocurrencies, paying with blockchain. What's the vision? And is it true that it will gain significant share of volumes due to the cost efficiency, while cryptocurrencies will not become payment method?
Really great question. And if you ask me the question about digital euro in the perspective of 2035, if I was right, probably I will be able to earn a lot of money on this vision, because there are very few people in the world who are able really to predict such future with crypto and digital euro. I will tell you one thing. From our perspective, the whole discussion today is very much based on the level of central money bank technology. This is really, I would say, supply and demand of money in the market. This is a little bit macroeconomic discussion today. What is missing, or at least what will be necessary to be discussed if digital euro, for example, should really gain traction in our real life in the future, in the everyday life, is really the retailers relationship, the B2C relationship, I would say the concrete action that in which digital euro can be engaged in everyday life. And we are not there yet. We know that there is a lot of discussion right now on the level of central bank. As BLIK, we are sometimes asked the question, what is our opinion, what are our experiences in terms of providing the last mile experience of the customer in the retailer scenario. It's a big challenge, but for sure this technology will be developed. But what is absolutely necessary right now is to leave the phase of technology and thinking about value-added services that can be provided with the digital euro for customers. But because at the end of the day, Mr. Smith and Mr. Kowalski must really know what will be absolutely a great advantage for them to switch to the digital euro. Yeah? We do believe in this last mile and the comfort and the user experience that you were explaining, much more than in a pure, wonderful blockchain technology.
Thank you, Darek. I cannot agree more. I always think, as a classic, you need to start with the experience and go back to technology, not the way around. And I know that 20 minutes is not enough to discuss the future, if it's enough time anywhere to just predict the future, but we'll be more than happy if you can join us on the 15th of June at 2 p.m. on the webinar that we'll be hosting together with Darek, together with the representatives of the few international banking groups. So it's going to be interesting. There are going to be more details soon. But if you can scan this QR code, you can download the report about the future of payments even today, and also register for the webinar. I'll be more than happy to also discuss with you. So we'll be open for questions, for the discussions. And Darek, thank you so much for having me on the stage, accepted my invitation, and also inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wiesław. Yeah, thanks.